everybody. Welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you guys could stop by and join me for a YouTube Live. I'm kicking off February 2022 with Thursdays. We're going to be doing some YouTube Lives. Thought it would be fun. It's kind of cold out and I miss stamping with my friends. So I thought it would be great to just have this opportunity to be on live with you and create. Now, today's project, I'm actually encouraging you to create along with me. So hopefully you had a chance to grab the measurements. If not, don't worry about it. You can always get the measurements later and then come back and watch the replay and pause if you need to and create these cards right along with me. We're going to have some fun. This is a really simple, easy layout. It's one when I created it, I was like, okay, that's just really cool. Kind of looks like things are floating on it. I don't know, kind of a little inset thing. So it's going to be a really great card. Hey, so before we get officially started, I just want to let those of you that are on live with me right now, it's 11 a.m. Central Time on February 3rd. Brenda is over there in the chat room and she would love to chat with you, and just make sure you log into your YouTube account. You can chat with her over there. And if you're on the replay, welcome, welcome. We love everybody joining us on the replay as well. All right, we're not going to chit chat too much here. I'm going to move my camera over. I don't have anything real fancy, so if you'll give me just a second, I'm just going to move my camera. Here we go. Look away if you get motion sick, because I wouldn't want to make you guys sick right before we start. There we go. And we do a little flipperoo. There we go. All right. Well, first thing I wanted to share with you guys is another free download. I know you guys love free downloads. This is something else I started this year. This is a really great thing that you can print out, or you could save it to your computer, or you could pin it to Pinterest, whatever you wanted to do. But if you save it to your computer, you can click to watch the video again. You can click right down here to see my supply list, order any of the supplies you need. You got photos. There's the supply list and there's my measurements. So these are really great to, like I said, keep on your computer or print out. But especially when you're live, you've got everything you need right there. So feel free to go grab my free download. Brenda will even put the link to the download so you guys can grab that. Or you can always look down in the YouTube description and it'll take you right to the blog post. So yeah, these are the cards we're going to make. So let me go ahead and bring this one in, because it's kind of hard to really grasp how cool this card is. Because, yeah, see the sentiment is floating. The top layer is floating. It's really kind of cool. And what I loved most, guys, this is a scrap card. I did this card with scrap, and we love that, right? We love our scrap cards. So if you want to create along with me, this is what we're going to be creating. But you guys feel free to use your favorite designer series paper, your favorite sentiment. It's not about what I used. It's just about using up some of your scraps. So here's what we need. We need a card base, and you can choose a card base that is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4, or you can do a 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5.5. Doesn't matter. Any card base is going to work. I'm using some basic white thick today. That's always been one of my favorites. And look what we need. I have a piece of basic white thick here. This one is 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. Yeah, so really it is just kind of a scrap. And then here's my designer series paper. It's also 5 1/4 inches long, but the length, as long as you've got about 1 1/4, 1 1/2 or so, probably 1 1/2, that's all you need. That is all you need. And I don't know about you, I just have tons of these little strip scraps. So that's what kind of inspired this card. Now, the other thing that you're going to need is a couple more scraps of some coordinating cardstock. I decided to go polished pink. That's always been one of my favorite colors. Of course, it matched my designer series paper. 5 1/4, because we need that 5 1/4 inch length, but the width doesn't matter. As long as you've got about maybe 1/2 inch. If it's smaller, you can probably make it work. So yeah, you just do you, and you're just going to find a nice coordinating color. Now, here we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, this is that 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to grab my paper trimmer, and guess what we're going to do? We're going to cut it. And it doesn't even matter where we cut it. It doesn't. Just don't cut it in half. I don't think that's going to look very attractive. So you can cut it wherever you want. I'm going to go ahead and just cut it at 1 inch. But I'm being honest, it does not matter. Just don't cut it in half. So there we go. Simple, right? You don't even have to overthink it. And you know, if you're like me, overthinking is your spiritual gift. So, all right. So there's our 2 pieces. Now, remember, we have these little pieces of scrap. So I'm going to take my stamp and seal. Let me get it started. It's a brand new one. It just ran out yesterday, so I had to start a new refill. And you know what? Just to be on the safe side, I'm going to go ahead and bring in my silicone mat so I don't get adhesive on my table. And you can put this little scrap, you can make as much or as little show as you want. I don't know. I've probably got, what is that? Maybe about a 1/8 or something. And now we'll add some adhesive right here. I hope that some of you are creating along with me. I just think creating with friends is a lot more fun than creating alone. And it's super cold here today. We had a blizzard come through. That's always fun. And living in Oklahoma, that's not something we get very often. So, yeah, we're all basically snowed in here. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. So there's my piece of designer series paper. And here, whoops, let's flip that around. We want these 2 strips on the inside. Now, this is the part where I'm not going to say it's tricky because it's not. But we want to kind of get an eyeball of where this paper is going to go. So I'm kind of eyeballing it, I'm centering up these 2 pieces here on the outside. So I think that's pretty good. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm just going to hold that in place. And now I'll put a little, oh, come on, adhesive. Let's get started here, shall we? It's a stubborn one. Okay, so as long as I can get my first one stuck right there, well, then I'm good. All right. There we go. So we've got that one down. Look, I didn't even do it straight. Guess what? It's not going to matter. So now we're going to take these 2 pieces, and we're actually going to use Stampin' Dimensionals on this because that's what's going to make it look like it's floating. And honestly, I really wish you could see how cool this card is in person. It just doesn't show up as well. The real dimension and depth to this one when you photograph it. So I hope that those of you that are stamping along with me are going to go, oh my gosh, that is so much cooler when you see it in person. All right, we're going to get some backings out of here. And there we go. All right, whoops, missed one. Oh, you stubborn little guy, get out of here. Okay, here we go. I'm going to bring my card back in. This is why I said it didn't matter if that was really perfectly straight. But we're going to adhere that down. And I will tell you my little trick here. Don't press anything down. Just lay it there for just a minute. Now let me do this one. And again, I'm still going to put the dimensionals on both sides of this. I know I could probably just do them down the middle, but I really think it needs the strength on both sides. So we'll do that. And so as I said, it is snowing like crazy here. We don't get snow in Oklahoma. We usually get ice. So it's kind of nice to see the white stuff falling from the sky for a change. But it's also very much a snow day here in Oklahoma. We kind of shut the city down, the state, when we get snow. I always joke, I think we have like 2 snowplows for the entire state. So, and I was reading some of your comments. Lots of you guys have snow coming in. All right, let's add our last layer, just like that. And this is why I said don't press it down. I want to look, make sure everything's good and straight. I'm happy with that. Now we can press. Do you see just that little scrap, what it did? Okay, now let's do some stamping. So I have a scrap piece here of some polished pink. I'm going to use Happy and Heartfelt. This is a brand new one from the January through June mini catalog. I love sentiment stamps. I love sentiment stamps. They're like my favorite. I order every single one that Stampin' Up! Has because they are always a favorite. I'm going to take my Memento Black, and this is probably my favorite sentiment in that set being awesome is just your thing. Love that sentiment. Okay, we're gonna stamp that right here in the middle. Again, ooh, that's a little dark. That's a little dark. Let's do this. That happens. We're just gonna flip that over because we have magic two-sided paper, don't we? All right, let's try to not press quite so hard. Here's a trick. Do you guys know this? If it's a thin stamp, like thin line like this one, that's a sentiment, press very lightly. But if it's a solid stamp with ink all around it, you press a little harder. Because see how much nicer that looks? So there you go. That's just one of those things I always try to think about. If the image is very, very thin, use a lighter touch. If it's thicker, go ahead and give it a good press. All right, I'm going to bring in a punch, and I'm going to go with the Label Me Lovely punch. So we will bring that in, and you can use any punch you want, okay? And by the way, stick around with me. I've got a few other cards, the same kind of layout. And then I'm going to teach you another version of this as well before we're done. So we have that. And we want this to kind of float. Do you see? And I hope you can really kind of see. So oops, no, that doesn't do it, Connie. But yeah, it's got some, just that space right there. And it kind of looks like it's floating. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in, see, we're going to hide that. We're not going to let that stay there. I'm going to put 2 dimensionals there. I'm going to go ahead and just put a couple dots of adhesive there on the side so I can adhere that down. We will take this one and we can center that up right there. So cute. Okay, now I love to add ribbon and bling. You guys know that. I am a bling person. So I'm going to add a baker's twine bow. And have you all seen these new iridescent rhinestones? Oh, they are so, so pretty. I've been having a really good time with these. But what I'm going to do now, first I'm going to add my bow. And another little trick for today is you're going to take a mini glue dot. And we're going to roll it into a little ball. Try not to over de-stickify it. You know, we want to keep it sticky, and I'm going to put it right there in the corner. Now, the reason I rolled it up is look at the center of my baker's twine. It's tiny, so I couldn't just use a full glue dot right there, or I would kind of have a card that would stick to the envelope. We don't want that. But when you roll it into a little ball, right? Look at that. And sometimes I think a card just needs little things. The other nice thing, guys, is baker's twine is super, super affordable. So, you know, what's not to love about that? I'm going to come in with my Take Your Pick tool. And these rhinestones, these iridescent rhinestones, there's 3 sizes. So I'm going to use the 3 different sizes. So there's a large one. Now we'll come in with the mini one. We'll come maybe about right here. And then we'll get one of the tiny ones. Do you see what I mean when I said how beautiful they are? And I thought the colors, I mean, you can see you're picking up oranges and pinks and yellows. And what colors did I have in my paper? Those same colors. Oh, I don't think I mentioned what that paper was. I'm so sorry, guys. That is the Abstract Beauty paper. Love this. Do you notice the size? It is 4 by 6. It's different than what you may have seen before. Of course, double-sided. Look at all this gorgeous gold foil. I love the specialty papers. I just think they're so pretty. And then, of course, there's some gorgeous patterns on the back as well. But look at that. Ooh, can you see that gold going down the center of that? That one would be beautiful. Kind of a nut for polka dots. There's the one that I used. Lots of great patterns. And it's 4 by 6, so I could cut this down into, let's see, what would that be? Probably about 4 1/4, and or maybe even a little bit more. Get 3 of those. I could make 3 cards out of one of these. And this piece down here, remember, because we'd have to cut it off to 5 1/4, I'm going to show you what we're going to do with that. So there is my completed card. So what I want to show you now is how you can turn it the opposite way. So let's say you wanted to go landscape instead of portrait with your card. Guys, we can do the same thing. We're just going to cut, instead of 5 1/4, we're going to cut 4 inches. And so let me show you how we're going to do that one, because we're going to go ahead and create this card as well. So for this one, I'm going to be using cinnamon cider. I love this color. This one I went ahead and did a 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4.25. And I did kind of do this one part in advance for you, but this was a 3 3/4 by 4 inch. And I cut it, remember what I said, it didn't matter where you cut, you just cut. But I cut it, so this is 4 inches. And so I believe I did 2 3/4 and 1 inch. But remember what I said, doesn't matter which way you cut. So, but I want you to see this one. I decided to do some dry embossing. So I ran that through my brick and mortar embossing folder. I know you guys struggle with the masculine cards. I do too. I don't know why they're just so difficult. I think because we don't get to use flowers and bows and rhinestones, right? My designer series paper for this one, again, it's a scrap. This is from Bloom Where You're Planted. And again, you notice it kind of had that brick and mortar that went really well with my embossing folder. Now you know why I chose that one. And then remember we needed some scraps. All about the scraps. Early espresso I thought would look really nice with this one. And again, these are 4 inches by 1/2 inch, but it can be anything you want. Okay, so I'm going to track down my silicone mat, and we're going to do this again. And as I said, I hope you guys will stick with me because I have got one more card to share, and I'm also going to share a sneak peek. You know what? Sometimes adhesive on an embossed piece of cardstock can be tricky. I've got a sneak peek at the lives that I'm going to be sharing next week. So I hope you'll stay tuned for that. And I know in my last live, many of you were asking about Tugger. Tugger the Wonder Pup. Tugger the Naughty Pup. If you've ever owned a puppy, you know how naughty puppies can be. But you guys wanted to see him, so he's sleeping right now. So if he's awake at the end of the live, I'll be sure to bring him in so you can meet the newest member of our family. All right, so this one, let's see, we're gonna flip it around. So see how I did here on the last one? Of course, it doesn't matter. It can go either way, but we can flip it this way. So remember what we did. We put our designer series paper down first, and then we kind of laid our pieces on top so we could get that visual that we needed. You know what? Let me give you one more tip. I'm going to give you another tip. So this, if I just put just a little dot of adhesive on there, I'm going to de-stickify it a little bit. And I can kind of start with that. This is incredibly helpful, especially if your scrap is really, really small. Because that way what you could do is I can stick that down. Now I don't have to worry about trying to hold it. And let me check this one. Yeah, I'm going to be able to cover that up just fine. This was a little bit bigger scrap, but like I said, it can be anything. So that's what we're going for. So I'm like, okay, well, that's down. So that's good. Now I can just put a little adhesive here. Remember, this is all kind of hidden, so I don't have to worry about getting all the nice little edges as long as it's stuck down, because remember, these are going on top of it. So I'm doing good there. Let me grab some Stampin' Dimensionals, and then we'll add our little sentiment to this as well. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to try to do the unthinkable, and I'm going to try to read comments while I add dimensionals. Let's see, Kathy, where are your bear claw flowers? I'm not sure. I think she might be asking somebody else something, because you don't want to ask me a flower question. I always joke that my house is where plants go to die, so it's kind of like plant hospice here. It's really sad. I really do try, but plants are not my gift. Let's see. Oh, it just went away. But somebody said, I loved your card. Great masculine card. Thank you, Kathy. And Linda, you said you love the cards. Thank you. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. Let's get the last of these little guys off. The fun of live is that I don't get to edit myself taking all this stuff out. But that's okay. It gives me a chance to see your comments and chat with you a little bit. Like I said, I kind of really have missed stamping with friends. So this is such a treat for me to be able to kind of be on here and be a little more interactive. It's like we're all together. All right, so we're going to lay that one. What did I say? I said don't press it down. And what did I do? I pressed it down. Well, that's just how it goes. It's a good thing I got that on straight. Okay, well, let's be a little more careful with this one. All right, I think that's good. All right, I did all right. So there is the base of my card. Now, this part I did do in advance. I did some heat embossing. You know, I don't heat emboss nearly enough because it's such a wow, isn't it? Do you guys heat emboss? Oh, first time catching you live. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you could join. Live is always more fun. But hey, the replay is a lot of fun too. So yeah, heat embossing is something I just don't think about doing often enough, but I sure love the look of it. So remember how we put a Stampin' Dimensional here. So I'm going to kind of figure out, I can just flip that over, figure out where my sentiment's going to go. And I'm just going to put that right there. Now I will put a little adhesive here so it can adhere onto the side. Great little simple masculine birthday card. And again, it's got that little floating look going on. See that? Well, see, every time I flip it that way, I just don't think you guys can see how cool it is. Anne says, thank you for reminding me to heat emboss, right? I know. We all kind of, my embossing gun and the supplies are in a drawer. And so sometimes I just don't think about it. So you can see, you can go vertical or you can go horizontal, whichever way works for you. I'm going to share one more card with you. Oh, I should have mentioned too, that happy birthday, I pulled that out of the sweet ice cream set. This card doesn't look anything like ice cream, but I sure love the sentiment in that set. I thought it was fabulous. I've got one more card. Valentine's Day, right around the corner, right? Let's talk about a Valentine's Day card. And here's what was fun is I could just use strips of the Sweet Conversation, I believe, is the designer series paper. And I just was able to use a strip of it. The stamp set I used, actually, it's the bundle. It's the Sweet Conversations bundle. And this one, I used Highland Heather and then did the white on top and brought out a little bit of that red. So I stamped Happy Valentine's Day. I stamped a few of the hearts, Blushing Bride and Highland Heather. And then this one I die cut from the bundle. Again, optional. You wouldn't have to do that if you didn't have the bundle. But yeah, I thought those pastel pearls just really made the card super sweet. So yeah, you've got some great options. Let me show you the stamp set there, Sweet Conversations. I mean, you know, your teenage grandkids and your teenage kids are going to love these because look, the text me, you're cute, BFF. Yeah, I mean, this is perfect card for the preteens and the teens. They're going to love this one. So, yeah, those are the cards for today. I hope that some of you got a stamp along with me because they were a lot of fun. How about real quick before I move my camera, how about I show you a sneak peek for next week's live? We're going to do a really fun gatefold, okay? And I've got 3 versions to share with you. I guess I'll go ahead and show them all to you. So there's one, and you see the shorter gate is on the right side. This one, I did the shorter gate on the left side. Oh, by the way, this paper, yep, that came from this Abstract Beauty collection. So there we go, utilizing all that great gold and a little jade and Blushing Bride. I love it. First of all, you're amazing. So, yep, that's a great card. And then this is the one we're actually going to make on the live. Isn't that bright? I think today with all that snow going on, this card just made me happy. And it's a great encouragement card. And that's something I think we need to be sending a lot out right now. Sometimes we can't do it alone. That's why I'm here for you. So that's what we'll be creating next week. And I believe, actually I'm going to talk while I flip my camera around. I believe that is February 10th, if I recall. February 10th we'll be back 11 a.m. Central Time. So that will be noon Eastern. And let me backtrack to 9 a.m. Pacific and 10 a.m. Mountain. There we go. I think I covered everything. So I hope you guys will join me. Tugger, do you want to come say hi? No, I think he's still sleeping. I'm sorry. We'll try to get Tugger on with us next time. he's a growing puppy and he needs his rest. And he also does not know his name and know how to come when he's called. So we're still working on that one. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Hey, real quick, don't forget, there's a free download for today's cards. They're all there. Go check that out. You can find the link down in the YouTube description, or you can just go to simplysimplestamping.com and you'll find today's post and you can grab that. Any of the supplies I used today, guess what? You can order that right there at simplysimplestamping.com. It's really simple. I've got all the supplies there. You can just check off the things that you want. I would love to be your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Don't forget that celebration's going on as well. So for every $50 you spend, you get a free item from our celebration catalog. Don't miss out on it. If you don't have the catalog, don't worry. I've got it there at simplysimplestamping.com too, so you can grab it. Thank you all so much for being live. Thank you all so much for being here on the replay. Remember, if you've watched, you can always go grab your supply list, come back, let's stamp together. Make it a great day, everybody. Love you. See you next time. Bye-bye.